Early last year, in March of 2020, around, I want to say it was the 25th, Borderlands 3 released its second DLC, the Guns, Love, and Tentacles DLC. And inside of that DLC, you could argue that the best artifact was introduced and implemented into the game, shaking Borderlands 3 main meta basically forever, at least for me, and I know for quite a few of you guys out there. Now, up until the release of the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge, the main type of artifacts people were using were snowdrifts, victory rush, auto idols, icebreakers, deathlesses. I know some people fuck with the atom bomb. I know I fuck with the atom bomb a little bit. And what was the other one? The banjo. The banjo was a popular one back then as well. However, with the release of the Pearl, the entire meta basically just got flipped upside down and just shooken out of it, just entirely shook for literally the release of the rest of this game has been out for up until this point, and me making this very video. So obviously, for those y'all who don't know what the Pearl does, the Pearl acts in a very unique manner. It basically functions similar to the consecutive hits anointment, where every time you inflict damage, you do any sort of damage, you get an additional 1% damage bonus added, and then whenever the 15 stacks are reached, an additional 90% bonus gun damage is applied. What happens sometimes in this game is that whenever you get too much into one specific type of damage, you're going to get diminishing returns, but the way that this thing is actually this actually works is that the 15% bonus damage is actually, it's technically calculated its own damage type, meaning that it's always going to get an additional 15% bonus damage. Now, the Pearl, the way you can easily proc this thing up is with any source of damage. Now, if you have the consecutive hits anointment on a gun, you obviously have to get actual, hits with that weapon. With the Pearl, it's any source of damage. Obviously, that does mean, gun damage, splash damage, passive damage, dot damage. Anytime you inflict a damage, maybe like if your action skill inflicts damage, anytime you inflict any source of damage, you are going to proc it up, which basically allows that the Pearl can get procced up very quickly. Personally, for me, my preferred way that I like to go about proccing the Pearl, and especially the anointment as well, is obviously going with the shotguns. There's a reason that I've always praised how much I appreciate having the consecutive hits on a shotgun, and why it's my personal favorite anointment, because it's so easy to just fully proc up all the stacks, especially if you're on flak and you have a stack bot, and you have a consecutive hits anointment shotgun, and then you have a Pearl. That is 3 sources that you can increase your damage just by landing shots, as well for the stack bot crits, but for flak that's generally easier than most of all hunters. So that leads me back to the point of why we are using shotguns in the gameplay. It's just real easy to proc up, especially with the anointment. Now bear in mind, some of the best ways to proc the Pearl passively will easily be things like Mitosis Hunter Seekers, even cloning Hunter Seekers, and then Mitosis Hex Grenades as well. Those I have found to be personally the easiest ways to go about fully proccing up the Pearl quickly and fast. And then obviously if you can inflict any sort of dot damage, that'll also be very effective as well. It's just very easily, very passively. Once again, the Pearl is very capable of getting itself procced up very fast. Now do bear in mind that as soon as you miss, you will reset the stacks. But I mean, once again, since the Pearl gets procced up by anything that you do, it's going to allow for this thing to get procced up very consistently. Then if you are using, a shotgun or even a rocket launcher at that point, once you have a fully procced up Pearl, it's going to absolutely just slaughter and just absolutely put in work. Now, I know some people, they look at me sometimes whenever I have a consecutive hits back burner, which is the big one, kind of like with a raised eyebrow. The only real reason that I like to do that is because whenever you get the back burner fully procced up, it's actually going to be putting in some massive work with the Pearl. and it's very, very just deadly overall. Now, bear in mind that you can use the Pearl with any weapon. It's not like the consecutive hits anointment, which can be a little bit finicky on like certain types of weapons. Even though I personally am such an advocate for the consecutive hits anointments as well as the Pearl. There is a reason why I'm like almost all of the builds that I've released since the Guns of Tentacles DLC, they have been fully with the Pearl as like its main artifact. It just allows for such easy, consistent extra damage on your build, except for in like very like, you know, niche circumstances, like, you know, melee builds, you know, maybe pet builds, stuff like that. You may not want to go fully in with a Pearl because that's different, you know. Also, or if you are using a URAD setup on you know, a Vault Hunter and you don't want to use like a front loader and you're using a Deathless, you know, obviously that's different, stuff like that. But for the most part, you know, this thing's going to be your preferred best option for the most part in most, you know, builds. Always a solid option to say the bare minimum for sure. Other than that though, guys, this thing is probably going to stay my favorite artifact for years to come. Like, I don't see this thing getting topped off. I mean, I know, look, with DLC 6, the company man did put some, you know, really good competition with the Pearl because the company man is really good. The only thing about the company man is that, you know, you have to get a little bit more lucky in order to get the passives. I mean, you know, that thing can be really good just because you can roll crit damage, and then, you know, magazine size all for one manufacturer, which makes for Allegiance builds very nice. Now, I would say for that Allegiance builds, maybe your company man would be better for you, but you still have to get the good passives rolled on it as well. At least for the Pearl, you're only rolling for 2 passive versus 5. Because you're always going to get the main perk of this thing, and then you're just rolling for the 2 extra passives. Me personally, my passives that I like the most on the Pearl are definitely going to have to be mag size, and then maybe like fire rate, reload speed, or health regen, something like that. But definitely mag size is the best to have on this thing. Other than that though, guys, please feel free to let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Pearl down below. Also, please feel free to let me know what your favorite artifact in the game is. We haven't actually made a video talking about like artifacts that much, and I don't think I've even made like as its own video for the Pearl. It has, as much as I've used this thing, I think it's like the actual first true video I'm making for the Pearl by itself. Other than that though, guys, we do have the Cartels event dropping in about 5 days, which is obviously very, very hype. Other than that though, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all did enjoy the video, please make sure to drop your load and the like button and subscribe if y'all are new. On the road to 10,000 subscribers, trying to hit that by the end of the year. Other than that though, guys, thank y'all so much. My name's Kree, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.